members of the Rainyday Cooperative Society to own their homes. So I'll be starting the slideshow now, and then after Obasi, you can have the floor.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much to management of Rainyday and construction. It's a privilege to be here to speak about Lagos housing development by Space Cube Construction. Um, can we have the slides, please? Okay, so basically, um, why the need for affordable housing is from the significant and growing demand for mid-range well-designed rental and ownership units, especially in urban areas. We are all familiar with the increase in rental values in urban cities, and it's everybody's dream is to own an apartment or a building of his own. So that is what birthed the idea of we coming into the real estate investment and providing affordable housing. And as we all know, the housing deficit that we have in Nigeria and the set of people that are trying to provide housing for people are not doing it in a good way. There are several houses that we go to, and we have challenges, so many challenges with cramped room sizes, um, inefficient layouts, low quality finishing, and poor ventilation are synonymous to so many buildings prototypes that we have in Nigeria, that we have within us, even most especially the new set of buildings that are springing up by our Lagos developers. And we all, the maintenance of these buildings are usually very, the maintenance of these buildings are usually very costly. We have situations where people are not really comfortable in their in-house spaces. You have to spend extremely on trying to ventilate your spaces. You have to deal with spaces that are not up to standard. You have to deal with inefficient layouts, poor finishing, poor workmanship. So this is the idea. It is from this problem we are able to provide solutions to affordable housing, which we are proposing to our clients, people of this community. So talking about the location, we have our site located along the Loto-Shimawa axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and we have it's a rapidly developing residential corridor which we are very familiar with, and our site is relatively behind the 3 kilometer by 3 kilometer Redeemed Christian Church of God Redemption Camp City. We have Christ Embassy Camp along that route as well, and it falls within the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And so, what is the major significance of this location to where the property is located? Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is synonymous with high rental demand. We know of infrastructure growth and property appreciation. You know fully well that where we have good roads or where we have highly populated location, it's a viable means for housing development to thrive. So our approach, so as not to take much of our time, our approach is to bridge the gap between delivering housing that remain affordable and that remain affordable, but clearly stands out in terms of space, comfort, and design quality. These are things that we have put into consideration in our design. From you as an investor, these are things that will be given out. It's a semi-detached duplex. It's a semi-detached bungalow, I mean. But we've been able to look into spatial comfort. We've been able to put into consideration design quality. In a situation, what makes a bedroom very functional? When you have your bedroom, when you have your bed in place, and you have your wardrobe in place in a relatively good spacious bedroom, and you still have good amount of circulation within the bedroom space, coupled with cross ventilation, I can tell you, and good opening and lightning. These are things that are fundamental to a building to becoming sustainable. So from an investment standpoint, we have faster occupancy. There will be it increase the increased demand leads to shorter vacancies. We have better retention and strong resale. These are the kind of design that we are pushing out, not the regular kind of Lagos developer kinds of housings that we get to see. We've been able to even bring in sustainable environmental features into the design by introducing more of a courtyard system within the design. Next slide, please. So our planning concept, a courtyard system, we have a situation where the courtyard is serving as a functional environmental strategy. It helps, the key benefit of why we introduce a courtyard system is it helps natural airflow within the units. We don't have clumped up buildings, or we don't have clumped up units all clustered together. We have breathable, buildable unit spaces. It also helps to reduce heat within the building in a situation whereby you have a passive cooling system within your building. We have reduced energy in such a situation whereby you don't necessarily have to spend much on day lighting, because your building is very comfortable. So all of this you've been able to reduce. You've been able to reduce your energy consumption in a space that is well ventilated. You would have less use of AC units. By so you've been able to reduce your reliance on air conditioning system. So these are the planning concept that we have put into consideration to ensure that the design meets the sustainable requirements that we are proposing to you. So next slide. The concept of our large window system is also basically a sustainable feature that we have incorporated into every space of these units. So from our living room to our dining to our bedrooms, they are all cross ventilated, and our window sizes are large ones of like 1.8 meters by 1.5 meters. I mean 1.8 in length, 1.5 in height, just to ensure that your spaces, the building is very comfortable for the end users. So why this matter is, we have natural lightning. By having large openings, your lighting system is good. During the day, you necessarily do not need to spend more on energy. Good quality air circulation. We have premium feel. It's the spaces, you are in such a space and you are very comfortable. Next slide, please. So emphasis on the bedroom layout. Our design prioritizes well proportioned bedrooms that avoid the undersized feel of typical development. I want to believe we all are so familiar with Lagos developer standards of the kind of bedrooms and the kind of spaces they provide. Just so choky kind of space with high rental value. So we are not doing that. We are giving you premium spaces, premium bedroom planning spaces that would serve you on a very good for a very good time. Why this is important? You get as customers or as investors, your tenants get satisfaction of for over a long period of time. We have family living spaces that support occupancy. We reduce turnover and a greater value for the development. Next slide, please. Layout and efficiency. So our layout was a carefully thought. We had a very careful thought in our layout. The planning, the zoning, this zoning of both the what they call it, the private spaces and the semi-private spaces. We ensured that every square meter, every space in this unit serves a purpose, from the circulation space, which was carefully and intentional, to the furniture layout spaces for the bedrooms, for the kitchen, for the living room. Everything was very intentional. So our zoning was very clear between the public space, the private spaces, and the service areas. Our circulation was also very clear. You cannot coming into any of these units, you cannot go wrong in the circulation, because you can see where your doors are positioned, you can see where your entry to any of these bedrooms are, and we intentionally made sure that each space functions for the way we have designed it to be. So in terms of service integration, our kitchen was positioned adjacent to the storage. In a situation where you have your kitchen, you have your storage, you can easily take whatever it is you want to take from your kitchen into your storage space. Our bedrooms are placed for easy plumbing. We did our bedroom in such a way whereby plumbing would not be an issue. That is why it is termed affordable housing. Our bedrooms for the bedrooms are placed back to back in such a way where plumbing will not be an issue. That we can guarantee you. Plumbing of both the water supply, and the waste pipes are grouped together, so we can easily identify when there are blockages and stuffs like that. So also our laundry is located in or integrated for daily living. So moving forward, we have reduced energy complexity, speed up construction, and lowers overall cost per unit. All of these are cost efficiency methodologies that we have planned out for construction, that we know fully well that during execution, these are things that would make our building stand out from the regular type of development that is being pushed out there. So moving forward, please. So construction and cost consideration. Basically, we've looked into design principles, designs, efficiencies of these systems, and also talking about competitive advantage. We have our ventilation systems right in place, thoughtful space planning, cost quality balance, and generous room sizes. So in conclusion, so we don't take much of our time, the affordable housing is basically a practical design that we have thought about in terms of efficient layout, and streamlined engineering for functional living. We have, and also finally, it's going to be a very good investment for everybody that keys into this design. So these are relatively 3D animations and views of what we are proposing. Thank you so much, and God bless. Do have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So we decided to go into all of those details so that we understand that we have done proper, it's research based, it's market knowledge based, and no, and excuse me, please. Yes, and then we can all see what is the focus. So we would definitely, we know that in addition to this, we all want to hear. There's something that everybody asked last month rather, and we all want to hear it, and that's the presentation on costs matters. What's the cost, and of course, would all take questions. So you can first of all start dropping your questions regarding design and all of that, location. We'll be sharing slides. We'll be sharing things regarding the location and other things with everyone. Yes, all right. And the next thing is to know, cost and all that. So the I would like the president to speak to that. Then we'll take turns to answer the questions based on the different considerations. That is the costs, the design, the location, and other things that everyone may have in mind. All right. So, Mr. President, can you do you want to speak to that now?
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
I can hear some
Can hear
feedback.
some people.
Please help me on
Please
mute if
help me
you're
on mute if you
mute if you're not speaking, please. All right. Can we hear me clearly? If you can hear me, please give us a thumbs up. All right. So it's a great privilege to speak about this, and why I say it's a privilege is that many desire to see this kind of opportunity to impact lives, but time and chance has not necessarily favored them out. So our posture is that of gratitude that we have people who take their time to listen to us, and we are here because you are here. For me, the design, we have spent the last part of 6 weeks thinking about the design, ideating around it, spending hours debating on it as a team, and we decided that initially it was supposed to be terraces, but we looked at what the construction costs is out there currently. You are not, no matter how affordable the house is going to be, you are not going to steal cement, neither are you going to steal iron rods in the market. And that's even the least of your problems. You are going to have to put wardrobes, lighting, and all whatnot. And I don't know if this is a good time to tell us the story, how the design came about, but for Rainy Day members only, I like to clarify that the basic finish, which is once you do it, you can pack in, is going to be 49 million. Then solar and development will be 10 million. Solar and development being, every house comes with a solar unit. Documentation and development, at 49 million, only for rainy day members, is 49 million, and that's off plan. So if you are asking how you want to be a part of it, it is off plan. This is an off plan project. Why is it off plan? One of the perennial disease with mortgage system in Nigeria has been how people promise you that, oh, when you try to buy a house, you get your money. But in the last couple of days, even with the MRIF program, we've been hearing about how people have put in for the program and yet they can't get their houses. So what we did is that, first of all, before we start trying to change the world and solve a problem for the world, we decided to solve our own problems first, or scratch our own itch first. You scratch your own back before you go and scratch somebody else's back. This pricing is for Rainyday members first. There's no agency, there is no commission. The lawyers who have worked with us on all of our projects are Rainyday members, including this one, and they have consummate experience when it comes to real estate. So this is an internal affair, first of all. If anybody keys into this, other than the people listening to me as Rainyday members, it is because you invited them, and there is no problem with that. So 49 million basic finish, you get into the house. Then the 10 million is 5 million for development levy, which is what we used to do the ancillary infrastructure, power in the area, grading, interlocking, vegetation and horticulture around the area. Those are things that we keep investing in to upgrade the area. I like the General Secretary to share the video of the site showing how it overlooks the Redemption Camp 3 kilometer by 3 kilometer. My vision is that as you fly into Lagos, when you're flying into Lagos, maybe from Abuja or somewhere, you would see the redeemed 3 kilometer by 3 kilometer auditorium. The next landmark you should see is our community, so that we are no longer talking about these things in theory. We are transforming people's collective quality of life. We are building a real community. People live there, people work from there, people rent it out to tenants, and they are overlooking the redeemed 3 kilometer by 3 kilometer auditorium. Then the documentation, we are marking 5 million out of the 10 million for the documentation because there is a lot of uncertain moves around government expectation on figures. How do I mean? The governments across Nigeria are looking for money. And one of the proven ways that they are found to look for money is around property services, property documentation. You want to do your title document, surveys, and all whatnot. So we have earmarked 5 million for that, but we are not collecting it at once. And we are also negotiating with our egbons and stakeholders in the government to see how best to make it less than that amount. But 5 million is the ballpark figure that we have set aside for all things documentation and regularization of the title in the name of the subscriber. So what do you get with the 49 million as a Rainyday member? Because after this conversation, you will never get this price again, except a miracle happens in Nigeria. I can beat my chest on that. I have seen the numbers. We have poured through the numbers as a team for the last 6 weeks. Even until yesterday night, we are still going back and forth on, what can we remove for our people? How can we value engineer this? How can we buy this in bulk? That 49 million gives you the house, a semi-detached unit of 2-bedroom. It gives you solar because we want energy independence. It also gives you water, plumbing. The floor will be finished with a basic finishing after which you can decide to put Spanish tiles, Italian tiles. That's at your own discretion. The roof will be steel, light gauge steel preferably, so that you do not have any worry about termites, infestation, or anything down the line. It is important that we know why we want to give solar. As I speak with you, the largest power plant, the largest active power plant in Nigeria is under a lot of trouble for some technical reasons. And you do not want a situation where a new development is going to be hampered, or your quality of life is going to be hampered by certain events. All over the world, even in the United States and even in China, people are investing in solar upfront to drive down the cost of living. So every house at this 49 million will have, from our own calculation, 5 kV, 3.5 kV or 5 kV of solar. The inverter, it would have 5 kilowatts of lithium battery, and it would have a reasonable amount of solar panels, at least 6. One of us is a power engineer with many years of experience. Engineer Ibukun Fagbo, are you there? And is on top of the solar affair. I mean, that's what he does on a daily basis. So for us, we are bringing in all the skills of our members to deliver this project, and that's why I can promise you that we will deliver at 49 million. How do you pay? It is off plan. You make a 10 million naira commitment, and then you balance the rest within 6 months. And if there's going to be opportunity for 12 months, we will provide opportunity for 12 months, but that may carry some adjustment because of the material costs. In Nigeria, what makes people change prices is not that they are bad, mostly bad people. It is because the cement you bought at 10,000 naira last week can be 13,000 naira this week. But we envisage that in 6 months, the prices should not have changed, and we can keep 49 million as a price against December. So we will deliver the first set of units by December. I mean, it would already have been delivered by December, long before December, because we envisage a 12-week construct with funds available. Once there's adequate commitment by off-takers, the way you commit is by paying money. You are not the one coming to build the site. So in 12 weeks, many of the units that are committed would already be finished. If there is any work to be done, it's mostly internal work in terms of furnishing, installations, and all whatnot. But the carcass will be ready in 12 weeks. So that is my explanation on that. Do we have questions? And for some people that have asked me in the past, so why don't we have terrace? Why don't we have duplexes? The first technical issue you would have with terraces and duplexes is the amount of concrete that needs to go into it. If we decide to pursue that path, you are going to be looking at a minimum of 80 million to build anything worthwhile. I know I have some real estate experts here. Let me see. I've seen some. Yeah, Miss Bemi, how are you doing today? Nice to meet you. They will tell you for sure, or any civil engineer or any builder, that if you introduce terrace, you are going to have significant cost jump because you are going to spend a lot on concrete. You are going to spend a lot on iron rods and several other factors. And then time will pass, because once you do the slab, except you are using a lot of technology, you would have to wait for 21 days for curing to happen. That also adds to your completion timeline. We are focused on tomorrow. We'll go and do high rises. I'm sure you know about our Lekki project. That's a fancy duplex. If you have the means, you're welcome. But this is for owning your first home. You want to quickly own a home in 2026. You don't want to waste time. You want, by the time you are doing, thank you, Lord, for preserving me this 2026. You want to be doing it from the comfort of your house while you are live streaming whatever church service you are watching. That's the goal of this. And the roof, please pause the video so that I can show our people our special relationship with. Yes, pause it there, please. If you can, look, good. That's the 3 kilometer by 3 kilometer auditorium of Redeemed Christian Church of God. We are right behind it. So it's not far from town. And the Redeemed Health Village is nearby. So in terms of ancillary facilities, you have the Redeemed Health Village. It's 15 minutes drive to the road. And once there have been a lot of efforts by Redeemed to do the road. And the Federal Ministry of Housing has also marked portions of the road to be demolished and expanded. So we envisage that once that portion is done, from our site to the road will be 10 minutes or even less, or maybe 7 minutes, because it's not a lot of distance. So we are happy to have everyone. We look forward to seeing our commitments, and work is starting immediately. I'm taking my time to explain all of this so that in the future, it will not be said that you did not understand what Rainyday was doing, and we can beat our chests to say that we have done right by our members, and we are created homeowners out of everyone. We have potential partnerships with the RCCG because a lot of Redeemed members are also talking to us already that we want to be a part of this. Why are they saying that? The Redeemed Church has a program where people build houses inside camp, but you can't own the houses per se because the land still belongs to the church. This investment represents an opportunity for people to own the house and they own the land. This is home ownership. Like they own the house, they own the land, no conditions. Unlike when people build inside the church estate and they can only pass on the house to their children if their children are Redeemed members. There are so many conditions to it. I don't want to get into that. But this is normal home ownership. So there are many Redeemed members who want to be a part of this and who are ready to be a part of this, just waiting for us to advise them on the cost. And I assure you, if they are not a Rainyday member already, they are not going to get this amount that I have communicated with you today. Thank you very much. We are open to questions now. And maybe I will still tell the story of how we got into this project in the first place.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I remember last week when we presented, a number of us were asking us about price. I mean, last month, did I say last week? A lot of us asked about the price for the thing. And of course, in the midst of all of that, we were doing all of the due diligence, and we are still busy working on documentation and all of that, because some of you got to know about us through one of our outreach platforms. Either you knew us personally or you got to know us through our outreach platform. That's the Snag Inspector page. And if you did get to know us through Snag Inspector, you know we're big on due diligence. So we took time to do all of that work because we wanted, and we do want to ensure that, of course, every member is protected in terms of the validity of your assets and all that, and of course that you get the best. So that's why we've gone ahead and then we have given this Rainyday member only price, which means once, and you can check the markets. Well, I like people to do their research, like a famous Nigerian politician would say, go and verify. So I'd like you to do your own verification, check the prices of assets in that market, and see if and compare what is on offer vis-a-vis location and other things that you are reassured of. So please drop your questions. I'll be answering out first of all. So someone just dropped. Well, our director, just our farm director, just dropped. For me, I have no doubt that about the quality. I believe in this organization to deliver top quality buildings. My interest right now is a feasible roadmap for owning a part of the project. So yes, the feasible roadmap is this is 2nd of May. The pricing is it's 49 million. So we would share with us the price payment. Like we said, we are locking in this price for rainy day members only rainy day members. And in fact, we may put a time. So if you are a member at this time, but anyway, we'll determine that, but only rainy day members at that price. After which, it would definitely, by the grace of God, it will definitely be different. So we'll be sharing a payment, an off-plan payment, the basic deposit and all of that. And to emphasize our commitment, we are going to be inviting us when it's time anyway, in a few weeks, we'll be inviting us to the groundbreaking. So we are making the move already, and we'll let you know, of course, all of the details when that will be properly announced. The president and myself will formally invite members of the Rainyday Cooperative Society and all of our other partners. But the moment it gets public, be assured that 49 million, that offer price will no longer be on the table. So yes, I think that's what. So that's in terms of feasible roadmap. It's like the president has said. It's a what do you call it? It's off-plan purchase. So does anyone else have any question? Please let us know if you have any question. If you have any question, if it is the so there will be stories to be said, but there are some of the decisions we made between when we shared the first time and now, and if you've paid attention, you'd see the difference in design already. So that's to tell you that we are in a conscious bid to meet standards and also satisfy the desire of members. So yes, if there's any question, we would have about 10 to 15 minutes to take the questions, and after that we will move on to general questions. Okay.
So while we wait for the questions, I'd like to show us something that helped our decision making in the project, because there is nothing new under the sun. It is the things that we have seen that we give birth to. I'll show you something. So the year was 1978, and the late Bola Ige had built a lot of houses for civil servants in Oyo State. And my grandmother, God rest her soul, had 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. One of them being my mom. And she wanted to own a house. She didn't necessarily know how. And one of our friends said, yeah, Beji, she had a set of twins. Let's go and check this thing that the government wants to sell. So they have been building these houses for politicians, but unfortunately, it was far from town. If anybody is familiar with Ibadan, the image you're seeing is Owode Estates in Ibadan, near the Nigerian wire and cable. So she followed the person. She was living in Okeado. Was it Okeado or Okebola at the time? And she followed the person to the government office to go and ballot. As they do, you ballot for these houses. And she was fortunate to be picked. And she, interestingly, the person who took her to the place said he doesn't like the place. It's too far out of town. And the person said he wasn't going to buy. And she said, I have 4 children. I don't think I have the luxury of choosing what to buy and what not to buy. My mom was finishing secondary school at the time. So, the house is almost empty. So let me just make a decision now. I have a few years left in service. Let me just own a home. And so she keyed into it. This is the house that you're seeing on the screen. And anybody who knows me knows that I still use that address till tomorrow. But that decision in 1978 continues to pay off now that my grandmother has gone to be with the Lord 19 years now. And it is an example of how simple decisions, collective decisions can provide a pillar or a fortress for a family long after the person who made that sacrificial decision has gone. As at today, the area has not really bloomed in terms of demographic, because a lot of people who bought the houses have grown old. They are trying to bring in new people into the environment. But I think that last I checked, the 3-bedroom houses are going for about 15, somewhere between 10 and 15 million, depending on the state of the structure. So this is a house that has been useful for the family for almost 50 years. And today, we still can sell it for close to 15 million. For me, it was a personal experience of how a sacrificial decision made many years ago still continues to be valuable to us long after the matriarch has gone. So I am challenging us today. What do you want your children to say to you? So to say about your memory and your legacy 50 years after now, such that they say, oh, my father was a member of Rainyday. And by God's grace, we believe and trust that our children would also be rainmakers. They'll be Rainyday members 50 years. Rainyday as a transnational institution will be around, and they will continue to be a part of this community 50 years from now. And like I always tell us, that's what separates us separates us from the fintech and all those guys, and even the workplace cooperatives. That 50 years from now, I would be almost 90 at the time, and your children would write me telling me that they appreciate the fact that I encouraged or forced or whatever language they choose to use to invest in this kind of programs 50 years from then, from now. And for me, that would mean more than whatever personal material possession we have gathered, because it is in humans that the greatest wealth resides. My father-in-law also made this, my parents-in-law also made a similar investment about 40 years ago, and the house is still standing in Lagos. So I'm a personal testimony, let me put it that way, of how short-term pleasures can be sacrificed for long-term benefits. This house continues to house my folks whenever we're in Ibadan. So if we're not using it, we give it to a tenant. The tenant is grateful that they have a place to put their head. Because if more people invested in housing 50 years ago, we will not be having Lagos housing shortage now. So it's not even just about your own children alone. Your children may not be interested, but there are many houses in Yaba, Ebutemeta, Agege, all over Lagos that the people who own the homes are no longer living there. They stay all over the world. But the tenants are also happy that, I thank God that my landlord bought this house when they bought the house. Now I have a place to stay. So it's also the design decision that influenced, the living experience of here. And quite a number of us lived in this kind of building. The General Secretary, Engineer Ibukun, and several of us, we lived in it across the Southwest, because this design that you're looking at is available in Ondo State, it's available in Ogun State, it's available in Oyo State. I don't know about Lagos, because Lagos had been crowded for a bit, but those three states built quite a lot of this kind of structures at the time, for civil servants, as part of the housing programs. So we took lessons from this and we decided to adopt it to this in terms of ventilation, space management, privacy, like the architect explained the other time, separating public spaces from private spaces, design decision, how do I say, what's the name of these things? Plumbing. There were plumbing lessons that we took from this 50-year-old project, and we adapted it into our own project, because again, there is nothing new under the sun. If people have gone ahead to solve a problem, then you shouldn't reinvent the wheel. So these houses now, there was no AC when we were growing up. The only thing we did was to plant trees. We had a lot of trees around, and we had a lot, look at the space, we had a lot of play area. And we are gunning for the same ideology that kids and even adults now, they say you should count 10,000 steps. If your house is like a shoebox, you cannot count 10,000 steps. It's not every time that you want to be running on a treadmill. Sometimes you want to come out and smell the breeze and touch the grass. So that's one of the benefits of. So this is the road. This is the road that passes just by the house, and you can go to the corner of the house to see what this area looks like. Yeah, so this story, okay. So this is our own neighborhood. We didn't do much. This was about 6 years ago. There's been a lot of renovation. No, 8 years ago, yes. This is the house about 8 years ago. I use our own house as an example because we didn't even do much. So this is our courtyard and the surrounding environment. So some people, they pimped their house up, just like our neighbor at the back. They made their house really fancy and stuff, but we left it the way it is. The trees, some of these trees were there when I was a child, or even before I was born, and they were still there as at 2018 when Google Street View passed by the area. So I hope we understand why this is important to us as a community and how it feeds into our rainy day mandate. We need to put things together every day that goes forward to become a fortress for our future. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. So we'll be taking questions. I know some of us are taking it in, and some of us are probably calling our banks already. Anyway, so the idea, the concept is clear, the vision is clear, and we look forward to everyone's further questions and participation. As we normally do, remember when we started the farm project, of course, we also had a rainy day prize, and eventually we had what we now have. So for anyone who wants to become a member of the Rainyday Cooperative Society to own these units, all of those details will be shared with us. And then, of course, we'll publish some of these things on our social media platforms and on the website for easy reference. If there are no questions, that's if there are no questions, it means it's clear. If there are questions, you know how they say it. So I believe we are all clear with what we're discussing this morning, and we would be happy to work with us all. All right. So I think we've spent quite considerable amount of time on this item now, about 35 minutes or so. So we can proceed to general AOB and general questions and answers session, and then we will move on. I'd also like to, okay, we'll move on to announcements. Yes. So we will move on to announcements after this. So please, if you have any other question based on the farm, based on the housing fund, and the ownership, you can let us know what those questions are, and we'll be happy to take your questions. If you do not have questions, we would obviously just jump into making announcements, and then we believe that you've understood, and we believe that people will be asking us for account numbers and the likes from there. So please, let's clarify before, so that I do not jump in and so that we follow the order of protocol. So that we follow the order of protocol. All right. So I'll be moving on in that case, since there are no immediate questions. I'm sure that, of course, we'll be happy to. Give me a second, please. Yes, I'm sure that we'll. For everyone who is here for the first time, we've said it before, but I would like to start by reiterating that membership right now, we do not pay membership due fee anymore. You become a member by subscribing to any of our programs. So projects or programs. So if you invest in Rainyday Housing Fund, the Lagos Housing Fund, or Lagos Housing Program rather, then you become a member. If you buy a home, you become a member. If you buy a cashew farm, you become a member, and so forth. So we are looking forward to, and so that will be our new membership. That has been our new membership model since about January, and that will continue to be our membership model. No more membership fees. If you invest in our USD program, you become a member. If you invest in our Naira investment program, you become member. All right. So having said that, I think that's the first thing to say. The other thing, again, for our new members is we usually have a weekly program, and we'll be having one this month. We'll continue this month. It's held every Thursday from 6 p.m. to 7:15, 7:30 p.m. And in that, we just discuss the concepts of, we generally take question and answers based on a particular theme. And of course, this month is Labor Month, so we'll be discussing labor-related matters. We would also be having a webinar on Saturday next week at about 7 p.m. or Nigerian time, 7 to 9 p.m., 7 or 9 p.m. Nigerian time. We'll be talking about agricultural greenhouse farming. So in partnership, of course, with our agro partners, and we are inviting you all to participate in that as well. All right, that would be all in terms of the immediate announcements and the general matters arising. I would like to invite any of our members, registered members now, to give their general observations and thoughts and comments before we move the motion for adjournment. So I would not be mentioning any name. I know some of you are in church. I know there are about four people that are listening from church. And there's someone who she should have landed already. She was flying. Okay, she has not joined, but I know there's some of us who are up and down with a few activities. So please, if you have any questions for, general comments from members. The session has commented a number of things already. Mrs. Aisha already has spoken, so we just want to have general comments and then we close. Ms. Kikun has not spoken this morning. How are you doing, ma'am? I have Mr. So please let's just general comments as we prepare to close. Thank you.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. For me, I just want to say a big thank you to the ESCOs, the chairman, and every other person, the general secretary, and everybody that has you know taken their time and giving the cooperative their act of service. You understand? Because it is not really easy to go to these places, these sites, and feed us back with some of this information that we get. So I just want to say a very big thank you to you, and God will keeping you guys as you carry on with this act of service for us. So thank you. That's just my own general comment for today.
All right, thank you. All right, so finally, the president will be giving us a brief for those of us who are business owners. So that's the